Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 475 of the DrunkNerds podcast. And as always, I'm Tyler. And joining me, we have the man, the myth, the legend himself, Sir Colonel Gables. What's up, buddy?
One hell of a busy week. That's what's up.
Mm-hmm.
But most importantly of all, I was able to get myself a copy of Pokemon Legends Arceus.
Very
I had to
nice.
travel a town over, but I found it. I got it. I played a shit ton of it, and man, I'm ready to talk about it.
Awesome. I do want real fast want to talk to the for the audio or for the video listeners. It's a little weird right now. We have some Skype issues today, and so we decided to use Discord tonight. And Gables had listened to me for about 30 minutes, bitch and talk to myself, frustratingly while Googling, trying to figure out how to get the shit to work on Skype or on Discord. And this is the best I can get for right now. So I'm literally just screen sharing it and then compressing it. So it kind of, this is what it looks like right now. So we're a little weird today. I apologize. I will try to set up get it fixed in the future. But for right now, this is what we got. So I apologize. But hopefully next week it's better. But for audio listeners, you don't notice a difference. Hopefully. Cross fingers. That's the case. But that's why we're the way we are right now. Once again, I apologize. I will do better next time. But yeah, man, Gables, I'm doing okay. I'm doing pretty good. I too have played a shit ton more of Pokemon Legends Arceus, and I can't wait to talk about it. I've been really looking forward to getting your opinion on said video game. So I'm glad you're liking it. Or I guess I don't know that. I'm glad you're playing a lot of it, I should say, because I can't wait to get like deep dive into what you think, because we literally have not said anything about. Even though we've talked for we spent the last 2+ hours bullshitting, we have not yet talked about this game. So, but yeah. Anyways, Gables, I forgot to crack open a beer. I'm gonna do that right now. I've been so stressed out about this fucking Discord OBS bullshit. I forgot to crack open this beer. So, hooray! I've already had 2 of those 1 beers I drank last week. When I forgot to eat dinner, I drank 2 of those, and I felt pretty drunk. I did eat dinner tonight. But I'm already feeling kind of I got a buzz going on it. So this is my only beer I'm going to have for the podcast. So they were also big beers. This is just a regular size beer. I'm going to take a big sip here. Give me a second though. I don't like that. I forgot that I didn't like that beer. That's the one I had 2 weeks ago. I didn't like it, but it's still in the fridge. I'm going to drink it because I paid for it and it's expensive. But anyways, Gables, we're here to talk about video games. This is a video game podcast. And let's just jump right into it, Gables. The big news.
Okay.
The big news of the week. I have to use my phone for our today to look up the show notes because the way everything's set up right now, it's a mess. I'm a mess. But anyways, the big news of the week, Gables. This one, this is another thing I was kind of curious about your opinion on. PlayStation buys Bungie for $3.64 billion with a B as in boy. So some of the things out of this is that apparently there's been multiple companies looking into buying Bungie, Microsoft, and them. There's been rumors for about a year now that Microsoft was talking about repurchasing Bungie. Initially, Microsoft was owned by Bungie a long time ago when they made Halo. That's why they own the IP. Then they became independent. That's when Destiny came out. PlayStation's had basically a co-marketing deal with them as well. They've had some exclusive content come to PlayStation, stuff like that, and some getting stuff early. But Microsoft was in talks, and I guess recently they were we'll buy you for $2 billion, but we want to own you as in we own all the other companies. But Bungie's been big about we want our own independence. That's been their big sticking point. And I guess that was kind of where they backed off at. There's other companies Bungie had a deal with NetEase where they invested hundreds of millions of dollars into their next IP that they're making. They're making their live service game that was going to be big for the Chinese market, which I believe NetEase is based out of. So obviously, with all that, sounds like NetEase, their part is being bought out by PlayStation or Sony rather. Another big thing they mentioned that was Bungie is staying independent. Everything will be cross-platform, and including their future IPs and future games will stay cross-platform. There will not be including like going to Xbox stuff like that, will not be PlayStation exclusive or you know PlayStation PC exclusive. They'll be going everywhere. Like they have deals in place, like they're on Stadia, they're on Luna, stuff like that. Um, and the big thing out of this is like it sounds like that PlayStation is like their goal is to have 10 live service games running by 2026. So basically, by the end of this generation, they want to have 10 live service games, and obviously that's been a big deal the last generation or so of the live service games. Like they talk about like Destiny, like Bungie knows better than anybody about essentially about putting out live service games that maybe don't learning on the job as you go. Once it's live, this didn't go as well as we'd hoped, and then salvaging it, turning it into a very prosperous business, as we've seen with Destiny 2 as a platform. So it sounds like they're going to be using Bungie as more of a revenue source, bringing in a bunch of money, and then also learning, getting their expertise on live service, and hopefully help PlayStation kind of avoid those bumps in the road that we see so many games come out and hit those bumps. Sometimes a giant concrete steel wall. But Gables, I mean, you're the big Destiny guy in here. We have the big expansion coming out in a few weeks.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what was your thoughts when you heard this news?
Initially, I was surprised about it because I received a text message from one of my friends that I tend to play Destiny 2 with, and so it's like, "Hey, Sony bought Bungie," and I'm thinking, "Oh, ha ha ha." And I was in the middle of Walmart actually buying Pokemon Legends Arceus when that move happened. So I checked my phone, and sure enough, I saw the deal transpire, and well, initially when I thought about it, it's like, okay, like what's the details of this? Do they just own them for outright? Is it taking like initial cross-platform stuff away from other platforms and stuff? But no, reading through a lot of the details, it's like, okay, multi-platform stuff. Still has some form of independence and stuff like that. And that initially, the reason why Sony went through with this acquisition to begin with is to get more or less like not only just a revenue source, but expertise in developing their own multiplayer kind of live service type of games that they have struggled to go forth and do. So quintessentially, they bought Bungie because they wanted to address a weakness that they got going currently, and that's having their own brand of live service that's going to stack up, that they can update year after year and do this and do that. Because with Sony, with PlayStation Studios and stuff, their main core strength is their first party games.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, it's their concrete first party games. But what I think about it is I feel like that this is kind of a prelude for another transaction that they're going to be addressing
Yeah.
further down the line, maybe another month or two, or maybe around June, who knows. But this felt very odd in terms of a transaction in general, because it's funny because a week ago we were talking about how Microsoft purchased Activision Blizzard and having their slew of catalogs. This thing here with PlayStation buying Bungie, this is an entirely different sort of set of circumstances. It's not like they completely own Bungie and then they can't do these type of deals with Microsoft or something past a certain extent. But this is more or less issuing addressing with the needs that they have currently, which is, like I said before, multiplayer live service games that they desperately want to try to get a better foot in the marketplace in. But I get the feeling this is like a precursor to something else that they're purchasing in that regards. Because there's also rumors. There's been plenty of rumors in regards to transactions and supposed addressing of what potential companies may be purchased online by either Sony or by Microsoft in that regards.
Yeah.
But thinking about some of the core core things that Sony really needs to build up on the gaming space, it's like even though they moved their headquarters into North America inside of California and did this and do that and stuff, they are they are honestly losing a lot of support from their home country in Japan, especially from some of the gamers that are there in
Yeah.
their core stuff. And just thinking about it, another core thing they could go through and address is buying a major company, say like a Capcom, because that would make a lot of sense to where a lot of the Japanese themed games that are fairly popular inside of Japan, come out from like Capcom, like say with Monster Hunter, which that's a franchise that's hugely popular in Japan and stuff for years.
Yeah.
Then obviously the Resident Evil stuff, the this and that, and Capcom is, I would argue, at its best point that it has been for over like since like over the past 15, 20 years.
Oh yeah,
You know?
especially when you look at like over the last 4 or 5 years, their best selling games ever have come out. And that when you talk about Resident Evil Village 7, Resident Evil 7 is their second best selling game of all time. Monster Hunter World is their first best selling game of all time. Monster Hunter Rise, the one that came out last year on Switch, is their third best selling game of all time. Resident Evil Village is the fourth best selling game of all time. Uh, and Rise is coming to PC, I believe, or it's already out on PC now or coming soon, one of the two. Then that's only gonna get even bigger. But yeah, it's definitely. I mean, you got part of that though is that like the Resident Evil games are bigger in Europe and America than they are in Japan. But
Yeah,
the Monster Hunter games are huge
absolutely.
in Japan. But the big thing about that is that Monster Hunter Rise is a Switch exclusive and has outsold Resident Evil Village and sold, a few million less than Resident Evil 7. But Resident Evil 7 is on, you know, is streaming in Japan on Switch. It
Yep.
is on PlayStation. It's on Xbox and it's on PC and VR.
Right.
It's on one more platforms. And Monster Hunter Rise has been out for less than a year and is already sold. Is already the third best selling game of all time for Capcom. So,
That's like a testament of
yeah,
like how awesome the sales for the game on the Switch is,
yeah, and that's
because
part of the reason why I think what. Sorry to cut you off, but that's part of the reason why I think it's like would be harder to buy that for that reason because it sells
right.
that Rise is selling super duper well on Switch. But I mean, although like I said, Monster Hunter World isn't even on Switch. It's sold over 17. It's nearly double the second best selling game of all time for Capcom, which is Resident Evil 7. It's around 10 million.
Right.
Um, and that one is not on Switch. It's on PC, Xbox, and PlayStation. So those franchises just sell. But yeah, like you said, like PlayStation is. I feel like they've pretty much succeeded Japan to Nintendo, and like you see the more popular PlayStation gets, the kind of less popular they get in Japan. Like you see like this
Exactly.
balance of like, all right, PlayStation's blowing up in America, but they're dropping in Japan. And you also see, I mean, obviously the Switch helps too. I'm not trying to take that away from them, but like Nintendo is getting bigger and bigger and bigger in Japan, and you see that the marketplace for PlayStation just dropping. It's still like
Yes.
it's not obviously it's not like not Microsoft, like it's not like an Xbox. It's still way better than Xbox is, but yeah, like it is nowhere near like you could you just see like we're gonna make and that's part of it where America especially like in like North America and like Europe where there's a lot more people that are interested in those things, and Japan is very big on mobile and handheld. I mean that's always been the case for them, so Switch is the perfect console for them, and we were like I think like the Switch is like over a quarter of the Switches have been sold in Japan, which maybe doesn't sound like a lot, but there's a lot more people outside of Japan that are than in Japan. So that's quite a bit. Percentage wise, that's quite a bit. So yeah, I don't know. I do think sounds like I said, this is like they've been discussing going back and forth for a while now. Microsoft is interested, NetEase, several other companies were interested. So it's just you hear about like comparing it to like sports when it's like you only need one other team to be interested in a trade. You only need two teams interested
Right.
in a trade to bring up the market value for that player, and you might overpay for him a little bit, but if that's what you got to do when there's other people, when there's a competitive markapmarketplace, price is going to go up, and that's just the case. So, I mean,
Well, yeah, like initially just stated, just to kind of tie up loose end in a bow, so to speak, on this one where I mean, it just basically feels like to me that it's like a prelude to what Sony may go forth and want
yeah,
to invest into like another company in general. I mean, for all we know, it may be a Capcom or it may be a Konami or whatever. It's just the feeling that they've even went through on the record and said they're not done with going through, or
Oh yeah,
maybe it's just like a rumor from analysts or something saying they're not done with purchasing studios
yeah. They're not
yet.
done with acquiring studios, which Xbox did the same thing. And you know, I think that's right. Even it's kind of funny when Nintendo's like kind of like said like they're not gonna just buy stuff for the sake of buying stuff. Okay, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think that's just the world we're in right now, especially in gaming, where consolidation is just becoming a thing. We're gonna see a lot of bigger fish eating the smaller fish. There's always bigger fish. To quote Obi-Wan. Um, is that Qui-Gon? That's Obi-Wan. Is that Qui-Gon? Obi-Wan. Qui-Gon? Pretty sure it's Obi-Wan. But never mind. That's episode 1. Uh, so yeah, I think that's going to continue on. I mean, there's no signs of that stopping, especially as gaming has gotten bigger. It's just, we see that, like, we see arms race for content now. We see that with streaming services, with Hulu, Netflix, and HBO Max, where it's like fucking, I think Netflix paid like over $200 million just to get fucking Seinfeld on their streaming platform. We've seen that with like I think like South Park, like HBO Max paid $150 million to get them on their platform exclusively for like 6 years or something like that. I think Netflix paid, I think, just to have the right to put the movies on there, paid $200+ million just for the rights to Knives Out 2 and 3, which I love. Knives Out, it's a fantastic movie. But that doesn't include paying the actors and making the movie. They just paid $200 million just for the right to make those movies. So I mean, this is where we're at. Content is king right now. We're, especially as streaming services, and we're trying to, when there's so much content out there nowadays, we got to do as much as we can to get that said content, and get people to pay for our streaming services to make those content. So, I mean, that's just where we're at. So we'll have to see how things go in the future. But Gables, moving on to some other news here. I don't know how much there is to say on this, but I figure we should talk about it. We had 2 state of plays this week. We had a Gran Turismo 7 one, and we had a Ghost. It was oddly enough like the day of the Gran Turismo state of play, they announced a Ghostwire Tokyo state of play the very next day. I started watching the Gran Turismo one. I got about 3 minutes in, and I started staring at my phone, and then about 11 minutes in, I realized I haven't been paying attention in the last 8 minutes. That one was just not for me.
I did not even bother watching the state of play for the Gran Turismo.
I just wanted to see like what's the selling point on it, and it's just like we just really want to fuck our cars is what I got out of it. Which, I mean, if that's what you want to do, good for you. I hope you're happy. I hope your car's happy. I don't know how semen in the gas tank works. I hope that doesn't like really fuck up. Is that what E15 gasoline is? Is it just cum, Gables? It's like that. I'm sorry. I'm moving on here. But so yeah, it was very weird. I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna stop. Anyways, that game's coming out next month in like early March. So if you're interested in it, get that one. I did watch the entirety of the Ghostwire Tokyo one. Oddly enough, though, when they announced that the state of play was happening, they announced the date of March 25th. March 25th, secretly a very busy day. We got Kirby, the new Borderlands Tiny Tina game, and now Ghostwire Tokyo all coming out on the very same day. Gables, I don't know how to feel about Ghostwire Tokyo. I don't know if this game, like, it looks visually, it's very pleasing to look at. I don't know if this game is good or will be good or just will be like mediocre or bad. I don't know. What about, where are you on this one, Gables?
Let's see. From the initial gameplay that I saw, and I watched the entirety just the same as you did and stuff like that. There were definitely some interesting aspects of it, which I liked. I liked a lot of the various combat stuff. I liked the fact that the story-wise is like you are quintessentially like you're the only person alongside like another spirit or something that inhabits your body that you can go through and like cleanse the whole Tokyo area and stuff, all these freaking like
Mhm.
yokai and all these other fucking demons and stuff like that, and a lot of the attacks, the element stuff that you use and stuff, they're pretty cool. They look like they go through with a fluid like gameplay in regards to some bits of the combat stuff. But yeah, I can understand how this may look like not as like say impressive in some aspects of it because I didn't know just going into the thing where this thing was like an open world game, or they give you the impression that it sort of is sort of like
It it
exploring all of Tokyo or something like that in that type of span,
feels
and
very Evil Within 2-ish, where there's
uh-huh.
just small open areas.
Yeah.
Where like
Yeah, I got that impression.
Evil Within 2, you just had like a few blocks you can
Yeah.
walk around in, and then there was different areas like that. But that's what I got. That's the vibes I got out of it. Was the Evil Within 2-ish. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, yeah. Like I can understand that. I mean, I personally never played Evil Within 2,
You
but it's
son
just
of
the
a
fact
bitch.
that
Sorry.
but
This
it's
is
the
why we're not getting
fact that
3.
But it's the fact that if it's like an open world thing where it's like it's kind of small open-ended levels. I mean, yeah, I could see that potentially from what gameplay footage I did see. But I definitely feel like this game is going to be a good game, but I do
Yeah.
not think it's going to be like one of the top like games of the year in that regards. I could be completely wrong, but at the same point, it feels like to me that it's this type of a game that I'd be interested in wanting to play, only because the aspect about it, the gameplay and the settings of it are
Yeah.
pretty interesting in my opinion.
I can see that. And I mean, you did draft it for your Fantasy Critic league, so you better hope this game's good. Um,
Oh,
yeah.
Bethesda game, dude.
This game just feels like a 7 to me, which isn't a bad thing. There's been I played a lot of good 7s, in my lifetime. So, um, yeah, I was just like I'm like, oh, this game looks fucking incredible. I'm like, then like the next thing I'm like, I don't know if I like that, and then I'm like, oh, this game looks cool. I don't really know if I like that. This just feels like it's very much going to be like player by player case, where it's just like
Yes.
people are either going to really like this game. I mean, it's essentially a 7. Like what a 7, 8-ish game is like, it's like it's not for everybody kind of thing. I mean, I guess it's like not necessarily the definition of a 7 or 8 because people don't like God of War 2018, which I don't understand that, Gables. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I I don't know why I'm being very competitive towards Gables right now, but I am. Maybe it's the Cobra Kai shirt. It's just got me all riled up, Gables. I can't help it. No fear, no mercy. But yeah. I don't know. I don't know. And it's very rare where I watch something and I'm just like, I don't have an opinion. I really don't have a strong opinion either way on this. It's just like this. I like looking at this. I love Tango Gameworks. I love Tango Gameworks. I loved obviously Evil Within 1 and 2. Both of
Yes.
those games made my top 10 list the years they came out. And they were very good years. 2014, not so much, but 2017 was a very good year. It made my top 10 list. So I don't know. I hope that game's good. It's just kind of, I'm happy it's coming out soon. It's very weird that they just like 6-7 weeks advance gave a date for it. But I don't know. I mean, who knows? I feel like this could very well be like my like death loop kind of game where like last year I waited and I picked it up for like $25. This could be a game like in the summer and I find it for like $30. I'll pick it up and play it then kind of thing. Depending on reviews. But moving on to some other news here. This is kind of the last big topic for. Excuse me. Oh, I just don't like that beer. It's got me all burpy. It doesn't taste great, but I'm pounding through Gables. Anyways, moving on here to our last topic. Big topic, anyways. We got a bunch of Nintendo sales numbers here. So the Switch has sold as of December. All this news is as of December 31st, 2021. Sold 103.54 million Switches. Passes the Wii U. Now it's just behind the PS1, 2, 4, and DS. As far as best, it's officially the best-selling Nintendo home console. Yeah, like I said, I think the DS is second all time. PS2 is number 1 all time, and like I said, PS4 and PS1 are both in like the 100, like it's in the 100 teen somewhere. I don't have the numbers in front of me. A few other things out of this. Metroid Dread, as of right now, has sold 2.74 million copies. It's 100,000 copies behind Metroid Prime for the best-selling Metro game of all time. So probably, as of February 5th when we're recording this, it's probably already past that. But this, like I said, all this is as of December 31st. So some updates though on some other stuff here though. So give me a second. Like I said, I'm using my phone here to use to look up our show notes here. So we do have the new updates on the top 10 selling Switch games of all time right now. Ring Fit Adventure at number 10, 13.53 million copies sold. Big ups to COVID on that one. If anything, if there's any positive that come out of COVID, it's Ring Fit Adventures, because that game was dead on a vine, and this thing fucking had second life because of COVID. Like, I think that sold less than 1 million copies, and then COVID hit, and it's been selling like crazy.
Shit.
I mean, like I said, like one of the prime examples is like early in the COVID, it went from like 522nd to like 8th in 1 month because of in the COVID. Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl already number 9 at 13.97 million copies. So you gotta think that's only been 6 weeks at that time on the market. That game, people seem pretty disappointed by that game, and it sold super well. So
understandable, but yeah, it still sold super well because of the brand, and plus it's a remaster of like games that released in 2007.
Yeah, 2000. Yeah, because it was like the 15th. The 2006, I thought it was like the 15th anniversary. It's the anniversary. I don't know. Maybe you're right. You know better than I. But number 8 is the Let's Go games at 14.33 million. Super Mario Party is at 17.39 million. Mario Odyssey at 23.02. Pokemon Sword and Shield is 23.9. Pokemon Sword and Shield is now the second best-selling Pokemon game of all time. Breath of the Wild at 25.8. Smash Brothers Ultimate at 27.4. Animal Crossing at 37.62. And Mario Kart 8 Deluxe at 43.35. So it officially passed the 40 million mark, which I believe it's not including bundled in games like Wii Fit or Wii Sports and Mario Brothers, Super Mario Brothers. It is like the best selling Nintendo game of all time at 43.35. And that doesn't include like the 5+ million copies that sold on the Wii U initially. So this thing is, if you combine those two, very close to 50 million copies sold, which is bonkers. I don't know how many games have done that. I did have some. Let's see here. Is it in this one? I have so many different links here. Okay, not this one. I gotta go back. I fucking hate my phone. I apologize, people. So I had some other Switch numbers here. So Pokemon Legends Arceus in 3 days on the market, Gables, already sold over 6.5 million copies. So
that doesn't surprise me.
No, so
that really doesn't surprise me.
It surprises me. So I heard like you were hearing stuff like it was already one of the fastest selling Pokemon games of all time, and I'm like, man, this. I feel like, okay, this will eventually be like a 20 million seller, like, a couple of years down the line, like most Switch games. This game might sell 20 million copies this year. This outside of the new Call of Duty will probably be the best selling game of the year. Like,
I would like understand that they did that, because from the initial impressions I have of Pokemon Legends Arceus, this is definitely one of the best Pokemon games I've played in years. And I'm not even finished playing the game yet. I mean, this is so refreshing, and it feels so much.
Gables, yeah. Save it for later.
Okay.
That's a tease. We're teasing you guys. So now you got to stay with us. We can't leave. If you leave, you die.
Long story short, This, I understand the whole.
Yeah. But it's exciting because like I went in super nervous about this game. And it's exciting to see that people are like, other people feel that way. It's like, my thing was like, this could be really cool, but if it flops a little bit, like Nintendo compared flops, like they might get the wrong idea out of this. Like maybe it's actually a good game with good ideas whatever, and then they might take it the wrong way and like, we'll just go back to the thing that's been working with us for 25 years. I do have some other stuff here that's like New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, which was the Wii U launch game, is 12.7 million copies. Splatoon 2 at 12.68 million copies. Luigi's Mansion 3, 11.04 million copies sold. Nice. Fuck yeah, man. That game is incredible, and more people should play it. 3D Mario 3D World 8.85. Like I said, Pokemon Legends Arceus already at 6.5. It's already the 18th best-selling Switch game. Link's Awakening only at 5.49. What the fuck is wrong with people? Mario Party Superstars, the game that just came out October 29th of last year. So just over 2 months in the market, already at 5.4. 3 million copies sold. People just like Mario Party. Where's the other Mario Party at? How's that been doing? Super Mario Party at 17.39. So that's been on the market for over 3 years now. So
that's 3 years, and the other one has sold like over 5 million, just not even a year on the market.
2 months on the market, yeah.
Nostalgia Mario Party there.
Yeah, that's the 64 best 64 one. Age of Calamity, the Hyrule Warriors games are at 4 million copies sold. Shame on you and me for buying that game. Not Gables because he didn't buy it, but everybody else that bought it. We should have seen that coming. Skyward Sword at 3.85 million, which kind of surprised me to see that that low. Even though it did outsell the Wii version, figured it's a Zelda game, it'd probably sell better. Let's see here. Metroid Dread at 2.74 million. New Pokemon Snap at 2.66. I wonder if they're happy about that or not. It's been on the market since last April.
Right.
But I wonder if they're happy about that. I wonder if they're happy about Metroid, the new Metroid Dread game. I wonder if they're excited about those numbers, because I don't know. I'm kind of like, on one hand, I wasn't expecting it to be like, oh, we sold 8 million copies, but I was like, I thought it would easily have outsold, but already easily have been the best selling Metroid game of all time. To find out, it's I don't know. Like we talked about at the time, like when you look at NPDs where it dropped out of the top 20 after 1 month, it wasn't even in the top 10 Switch games for the month of November, December, or for the entire year last year. I don't know. I want to know, like, what were the expectations? Like, did this game, obviously it's selling very well for a Metroid game, but I wonder if, like, when you include the Switch effect, you know, when everything comes on Switch, it just sells magically way better. What were they expecting? You know, are they happy? Are they pleased with this? Are they not? Like, they're never gonna really ever stay, probably, but I guess we'll find out in like 5 years from now when depending on how many more Metroid games we get. If we go 15 years after Metroid Prime 4 between Metroid games, that will give us the answer, I guess. But I don't know. I mean,
who knows? Maybe we'll learn a lot sooner than that.
Yeah, true. I mean, if we keep getting more Metroid games after Metroid Prime 4, then we'll know they're pretty pleased with, you know, maybe.
Well, let's think about it this way. If it's already getting close to that 3 million mark in terms of sales, I mean, then what's to say, you know, what's going to happen if they put out that supposed Metroid Prime trilogy, or once Metroid Prime 4 comes.
That's a good point. Well, I mean,
eventually. Well,
it sounds like we're not getting the trilogy. We're just getting Metroid Prime remastered. But
well, that's what I was referring to.
Yeah, but yeah. So, but I wonder though, like those games are obviously like it sounds like Metroid Prime could just come out anytime now. Metroid Prime 4, who knows when that's coming out? Those games are well into development, like they're gonna happen. But I wonder if like post that, like I said, I don't know. Like, if they keep making them, then we'll know they're pleased with those numbers. But it's just like when you got like Luigi Mansion 3 selling 11 million copies, like who knows how high expectations are for games at this point for them? You know, like, you know, because who would have thought Luigi's Mansion 3 would sell like 11 million copies? You know, like when they're putting out Wii U ports and they're selling more than the entire Wii U sold. Like, I mean, that says something. So, but I did want to, Gables, before we move on to what we've been playing, Gables, I did want to talk about our Fantasy Critic League. So,
okay,
bear with me a minute here as I bring it up, Gables. So it's getting a little interesting. It's getting a little interesting around here, Gables. I'm pulling the collar a little bit. I'm like, oh boy, it's getting a little hot in here. So as of right now, I have had 4 games come out. Gables has technically only had 1, but really 2 have been reviewed. Gables had All the Other World come out. Well, the reviews have come out. The game doesn't come out until next week. But right now it's sitting at 86. So if that sticks, that's 16 points for Gables. So right now we're looking at Windjammers 2 was at 78. That's 8 points. Looking at All the Other World, what's currently at right now, 16 points. Gables sitting at 24 points with 2 games out. I have 4 games out. I'm sitting at 34.
Yeah.
So I'm getting a little worried, Gables, that maybe we talked about like your swing for the fences kind of stuff, and I would honestly say you didn't really even swing. You swing for the fences on some of these. Like we got like the Breath of the Wild 2, Plague Tale. We got Hellblade 2, Silk Song, Mario Kart 9 or whatever the fuck it's gonna be called. Starfield. We got some swings here. You made some big swings.
Yes.
But right now, you did looking pretty good, Gables. You're looking pretty good. You got Elden Ring coming out here soon. You got God of War Ragnarok on there too. That's a swing.
Yeah.
It's a small swing, but it's a swing. And I'm like, for when we did our draft, I'm like, I'm playing it safe. I'm just gonna I'm drafting games that are all coming out. We got dates for them, or we at least got like an early 2022 release window.
Right.
It's not looking great, Gables. We got like Pokemon Legends Arceus right now sitting at 85, so I got 15 points on that one.
Right.
Way better. Like that was like I talked about was like that game felt like it could have been like a fucking low 70s to high 80s, and kind of hit the
that's what a lot of people felt like it may have been.
Yeah, and like I wouldn't even necessarily I don't. A lot of people gave it 7s, and I don't blame them for it. But 85, but pretty much best case scenario for me. Rainbow Six Extraction. Every time I look at the thing, I lose points on that one. I don't lose points as far as like I still get points, but the points I had in the first place were gone. Like the thing started at like a 78 and it's dropped down to a 72.
Yeah.
So I got Dying Light 2. It's got me a 77. Nobody Saves the World right now has got me 81. Got me 11. I like that game a lot. I talked about it last week. Yeah, I was playing a little too safe. Where I'm like, I don't think a lot of these games are gonna have like super high ceilings, but I feel like the floor. It's got a higher floor, not the highest ceiling in the world. If that makes to use a NFL draft term, low ceiling, high floor kind of thing. Yeah, I don't know if it's worked for me, Gables. I don't know if I may have made a bad strategic move here. Maybe I should take some more swings. I don't know, but I mean it's really near. We're literally it's the 5th of February. I almost said the 5th of October. Time doesn't make any sense to me anymore. I had to stop myself from saying the 5th of October. But Gables, All the Other World was one. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Before you continue on and stuff, I'm just saying it's like the best thing about this league so far. It's methodical.
Yeah.
So this is a long stretch here, a long game throughout this entire year, to where both of us have the options to go through, research things, go through and like keep track of like the game news in regards to what is releasing, what games that we have drafted, what type of updates and stuff like that. I mean, I already have one game that's not even going to release this year, and that's the Hellblade 2. So I took a loss in that regard.
Yes.
Most likely it's going to be probably delayed to 2023. That's what I'm thinking at this point in time. But yeah, I'm still going through and hopeful that the games that I did go through and draft end up becoming like swings, like Breath of the Wild 2, like Hollow Knight Silk Song, and even like a potential like how Splatoon 3 maybe this year,
Supposed to be summer,
here's hoping that a lot of them do review well if they do release in 2022. But at the same point, it's like it's definitely going to be one of those marinating type of races and stuff, to where it's going to be a slow burn, and then eventually it's going to rise up to a certain extent where I feel like there's going to be a point in this year to where there's going to be a couple of moments clustered together that we have to probably go all or nothing in some spots.
Yeah. I mean, we do have a lot of open spots left. Gables has added 3 games. out of 32 spots. So he's got 23 of his 32 spots filled. All the Other World was one of the games he actually didn't draft, but he bid on later, got for $1. Bastard. All the Other World, that one. I got my first game this week. I struck first for myself here, and for $3, I overpaid. I got WWE 2K22. This is another one of those things where I was thinking, like, I feel like it's a higher floor, but possibly a low ceiling. But I don't know. I don't know. I mean, that one, I feel like I won't be surprised. It's one of those ones where I feel like the gap is pretty far. Where like I wouldn't be surprised that game comes out and it's in the 60s, but maybe it comes out. It's been 2.5 years since we had a new WWE 2K game, so maybe it comes out and it's like it gets the 80s. It's a breath of fresh air that people were wanting. So let's hope so. Yeah, but we got a busy next month or so, Gables, because like I said,
Absolutely.
you got All the Other World on the 8th. I also have Sifu on the 8th. You have King of Fighters on the 17th. I got Total Warhammer 3 on the 17th as well. I got Horizon Forbidden West on the 18th. I got Destiny 2, The Witch Queen on the 22nd. You got Elden Ring on the 25th. And then you got Triangle Strategy on the March 4th. I got Gran Turismo 7 on March 4th. And then I got WA 2K22 on the 11th of March. So, I mean, like I said, we got a big cluster coming up the next month. So, be interesting to see where we
yes, and especially since there's so many different type of clashes, some on even the same day, some
even
in the same month.
So. We got possibly some big points coming up here soon. So like I said, we're not gonna like update this all the time, but like right now we're just in that cluster, a lot of games coming out. So I figured, as stuff happens, we'll bring it up. But we're not gonna talk about this every week, especially if like we're going weeks at a time in between. But like right now, where it's just kind of a oddly really busy time of year for gaming. Usually we get a handful of bigger games in the first few months of the year, but this year we just have seems like a lot. But moving on, Gables, to some other news this week. MLB The Show is coming to Game Pass, including Switch and PlayStation. On April 5th. Sorry. You got Shohei Ohtani on the cover, and I love the super expensive edition. It's like $100 or whatever. It has like a really cool like manga that was made by the Afro Samurai creator. If you haven't seen the cover, guys, look it up. It is really cool of Shohei Ohtani, and like a manga cover for the very expensive edition of the game. But I'm not gonna buy it. I played the last year's on Game Pass, and I played for a little bit. It's fine. It's more. It'll be the show. But I don't know. I mean, it's kind of cool. It's interesting. It's coming to Game Pass once again. So that game came out last year and it was on Game Pass day one, and also came out the first month on the NPDs at like number 2 or 3 that month. So still sold super duper well. But I don't know. But this year it's coming to Switch for the first time ever, Gables. So
yes,
who knows? I don't know. What was your thoughts during all this?
Honestly, my thoughts of it was like, I'm surprised it's coming onto the Switch. But then again, Major League Baseball did go through and quintessentially forced Sony to go forth and share the property between multiple different platforms because they didn't feel that it was most lucrative to have it just on the PlayStation.
Yeah.
It's one of those weird type of like things and stuff. And now we're going to see a portable baseball game on the Switch that is actually a Major League Baseball game.
Yeah, I do want to. I can't wait to see how that thing runs on there. As we get into the new generation of consoles, it's like at what point do we like stop? All right, on the Switch we can't put these games on the Switch anymore. But I think it's interesting. Go ahead.
I'll tell you what though, before like I let you finish up. In speaking of like sports games on like Switch and stuff like that, little fun blurb is on occasion I like to still power up the NES app and stuff and play a little bit of Tecmo Bowl.
That's who doesn't? Who doesn't?
You just damn shit stuff to play on handheld and stuff. It's so fucking good.
Yeah, well, just get Bo Jackson, runs people over, kills people. It's fine. Yeah, I don't know. It's very interesting. I can't wait to see how thing runs on there. I think it's interesting though. That's still no word on PC. So you think that'd be a big push for them. But next thing up here is Final Fantasy VII Remake 2. Apparently will be revealed sometime this year, according to Square Enix. So I don't know. I mean, not much to say on that one. They just kind of said that the plan is to reveal it sometime this year. But I just feel like there's a lot going on in Final Fantasy. We have like the those weird Final Fantasy remaster things that are coming to PC and eventually Switch.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 16, Final Fantasy 14, are all, like we're gonna have updates for Final Fantasy 14. Final Fantasy 16 is supposed to come out this year. It seems like a lot, but also like PlayStation does like is the last couple of years has done like big PS5 like their like E3 big blowout thing has been in the fall.
Right.
So I wonder if maybe we we hear, like, we're supposed to hear about Final Fantasy 16 here's in, like, I think they said in the spring, so maybe we get a date for that, and once that's out, then maybe they'll start pushing 7 too. I can't wait. I hope so, because I would love to. I'm excited to hear more about that game, but I thought it was kind of weird. And then finally, Gables and I were talking about this for the show. Both very happy we didn't take a chance and draft that for our Fantasy Critic. Square Enix, Jesus, Suicide Squad. I'm combining stories here. Suicide Squad has been delayed to 2023. So, I don't know. It's just very weird what's going on with the Warner Brothers studio stuff going with like Rocksteady, and then we have the Warner Brothers Montreal, I believe, is making the Gotham Knights game. So,
Yep.
like Gotham Knights was supposed to come out in 2021, and Suicide Squad was supposed to be like first half of 2022. Now it's been, or no, I think, no, wait, yeah, no, it's supposed to be Gotham Knights supposed to be early 2021. Suicide Squad was supposed to be late 2022, and then that all got pushed a year, and now we're getting pushed another year. So I don't know who
It's
fucking
fine
knows.
by me.
Yeah, I mean, I can't. I like it's weird though, because like they just did this big blowout at Game Awards where we saw, like, they had the WB fandom thing where we just got a teaser trailer for Gotham Knights, which is coming first, but then we got a bunch of gameplay for Suicide Squad, and then we got more gameplay at Game Awards, but we haven't seen anything about Gotham Knights like gameplay wise since they announced it in 2020. So it's like, what the fuck's going on?
Probably has to do in regards to probably Warner Brothers themselves, because they're still in the middle of like going through and potentially looking at sales for certain things.
And then Discovery, the whole, like, they're in a weird spot with like Discovery, and then like trying to sell off property because they're in debt. I don't know. It's fucking weird. It's just really weird that like they did a big blowout and like showing off gameplay for Gotham Knights a year and a half ago, and we've seen nothing since. But Suicide Squad, they've shown multiple times of gameplay, and that's the one that's getting delayed to 2023. Meanwhile, Gotham Knights has come out first, and we haven't seen anything from it in a year and a half. I don't know. Like, it's very weird. It's just a weird thing to me. But yeah, that's kind of it for the news. Kind of it's been a weird week, but we're in a weird time. Like, a lot of news for February. Usually, we stroll into the first couple months of the year, and there's not a lot. And I would say the first month of this year has been pretty fucking wild. So yeah, I don't know. We shall see. Hopefully, we'll see how February goes, because that, like I said, we're only in the first chunk of the year. But moving on here, Gables, you and I have both been playing Pokemon Legends Arceus.
Yes.
I was like 15 hours in as of last week. You hadn't got a chance. You said that you weren't able to get a copy. You said you've been playing a ton of it. You kind of gave a little tease earlier. So, Gables, I want to hear about your thoughts on Pokemon Legends Arceus.
All right. When I initially went through and played the game, like at least the first couple of hours, I was trying to get like a good feel of it, because I went in there thinking, oh, okay, this is basically going to go around, capture a couple of Pokemon and stuff like that, and then like go from noble point to noble point and stuff. I didn't really understand like a lot of the mechanics of the game itself. I've only saw things from trailers, only saw like specific things and stuff from like YouTube videos as well in regards to people just playing the game. Before I initially started my playthrough, I did see these spoilers in regards to the final evolutions of the starter Pokemon. That's the only spoilers I went through and saw for that game that I remember. And as far as choosing a team and stuff, it's like I decided just to go with Rowlet, because I do like Rowlet. And you know what? I like Cyndaquil as well, but yet at the same point, it's just not the same Cyndaquil that I grew up playing like at Golden
Gables,
Sword.
I'm going to block you on Discord. Give me a minute.
But the thing about playing Pokemon Legends Arceus and stuff, it's like it definitely feels like a breath of fresh air. It feels like a foundation, like a good foundation, like stepping stone, like a building block to an eventual like another mainline game, and like incorporating a lot of the improvements and a lot of like the technical stuff, from this game itself. From my overall thoughts and feelings of playing this game, this feels like a mainline Pokemon game
Mm.
because there are different core aspects of it that really remind me of the mainline games and stuff. Not only just picking the starter and doing this, but like going to different aspects, going to different towns and stuff, like investigating specific areas of like, say, a forest or a swamp region, or like inside of whatever type of like bodies of water and stuff, and encountering a bunch of different Pokemon and stuff like that, and just capturing them like over in like the open fields and stuff. This is definitely feeling like the most organic like Pokemon game itself. It feels like
Mm.
there's a lot of life, a lot of variety in terms of, oh, okay, I can go forth, I can start sneaking around, I can capture a couple Pokemon, and then all of a sudden I can go to like the next area, just collect a lot of resources as I'm doing this stuff. Which, one of the small gripes I do have is like the inventory space fucking too small, and I still
How
have to.
how much? Okay, yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you, Gables. I spent. So if
What?
you talk to the guy that like gives you more space,
Yep.
I I got to the point where the money got so high it cost me like $20,000 to get one more slot. When
I'm almost to that point too.
I can hold 35 slots and it's still not enough.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
constantly
honestly
filling it
not
up.
enough because you're consistently getting resources for various stuff. And I've had to go upon the inventory stuff multiple times in order to store a lot of extra shit I'm not even going to use.
Yeah,
But
that's a nice thing about like how the game works though. To like where you don't have to carry like crafting items in your inventory to craft items and sell items. Like you only have to carry like the only thing you really need to carry is like stuff to distract Pokemon and Pokeballs and potions. Like that's all you got to carry. So I'd keep it to like 8 slots of like I got my potions, I got my Pokeballs, and I got a couple like bananas and shit to like throw and distract Pokemon.
yep.
But still, I'd run out of
Overall,
space all the time.
yeah, exactly the point. Like the space inside of that stuff and the amount of money that increases each time you have to spend to get more space is it can get fairly costly fairly quickly
Mm-hmm.
if you want to have as much space as possible. Over the entirety of, I want to say 14 to 15 hours I've played this game throughout this week,
Ooh, okay, okay.
I do love, I do love the feeling I get and stuff where you have a party of Pokemon, you're going out into like the wild and stuff, and then you're riding on your weird deer, going across, like
Weird
crossing
air.
different things, collecting resources, capturing different Pokemon. I absolutely love the different types of options you can go through and do. It's like you can catch the Pokemon if you want, but you can also defeat the Pokemon. Maybe you can watch it like perform a couple different moves, or even if you've caught the Pokemon before and you use specific type of moves, it'll just complete all these checklists and stuff like that. And that's the fun part about it is my main objective right now is to try to increase my star ranking as much as possible because
Yeah.
it's like with as many increases in star ranking, that's the type of the level in order for like more Pokemon to like obey you in that regards. It's the same as like what you would earn badges in inside the original Pokemon game, where it's like, okay, I've now gotten the Cascade badge. Okay, Pokemon like over level 30 will obey me. Well, the same thing could essentially if you're at rank like say 2 for your like expedition stuff, and then the Galaxy team, like the person goes through, okay, you're rank 2 or rank 3 or whatsoever. I think I'm at rank 4
Oh wow.
personally because I think I'm at that point and stuff where Pokemon at level 40 and below can obey me right now.
Yeah.
But I've been taking my time with trying to decipher, trying to build my team in this regards. So I have my Rowlet, which is evolved obviously into like its Metal Evolution stuff. It's 2 levels below actually going and evolving into its final evolution. But I've have a Haunter, I love the ghost Pokemon and stuff. Caught the Ghastly, evolved into Haunter and stuff. I have a Ponyta. I have like I do have my Staravia and stuff that I evolved from Starly.
I didn't even
And
see a Starly in the fucking game. Holy shit. Okay.
you didn't even see a Starly in the game?
No, I didn't even see one.
Dude, I'll tell you what, man. It's like I've been exploring almost every nook and cranny in the areas and stuff, and it's
Yeah.
coming across all these different types of Pokemon. Like I saw Starly almost like the first thing because that first area I was creeping and stuff, and I see these Starly and stuff that they're very timid. They're very much like, oh, okay. If you run up upon them, yeah, they're gonna fly away. But if you sneak into this tall patch of grass and stuff like that, you can sneak up behind them, toss a couple Pokeballs and stuff, catch them that way.
Hmm.
But let's see, I have that, and I'm trying to think. Oh yeah, I caught a Buizel and I evolved it into a Floatzel and stuff. It's one of my favorite Pokemon inside this game so far in terms of water
That was
types.
my water type I used for the whole game. So,
Dude, Aqua Jet, priority Aqua Jet and stuff like that,
yep.
automatically get the first attack and stuff. I mean, that's important in regards to a lot of these battles. Because what I didn't know about it going in is you don't have effort values. You don't have individual values like you do inside the other Pokemon games. No, they're based upon, in this game, how you go through and level up specific things inside of stats. You have to use grit items, right?
Yeah,
So these
I
grit.
I focus heavily on speed. That was like
Okay.
the first thing. Like speed and defense were the first two things I would focus on with the grit dust. That way I can get that first strike in, and I got really good at like, all pretty much any Pokemon that can learn the quick attack. I would have them. They would keep that. They would do so. Like sometimes you can like when you can see like the order you do the moves in. That
Yes.
sometimes if you like you get them fast enough, you could do you get two moves in a row with quick attack. You pick quick attack, you get two moves in a row. So you hit them once with quick attack, but then you get to go again. Then you do quick attack and agile style, and you can get a third move in a row. And then that's when I
Ah,
come
there
out
you
there,
go.
and then I would go in with like the third move. Usually we get them weak enough, then I do a strong style with my strong move, whatever that would be, and then fuck them up and usually knock them out with that.
Now you see, that's a cool idea right there because I never thought about potentially doing any of those type of stuff because, for one, I didn't think beforehand to where okay, maybe I invest a lot inside speed first off with some of these grit bags and stuff. I can go forth and outspeed them and do this and do that and stuff. No, I could essentially aim towards like the main focal points of them, which were okay. I thought that the defense of my Pokemon was okay as it was. Quintessentially, no. If it's not invested inside of any of the defenses, if you don't have like at least one or two starting off with, like I say, a Pokemon in regards
Mm.
to those like defensive stats, your Pokemon is just going to be completely wiped out.
Oh yeah, you
And
get
that,
fucked up real quick.
yes, exactly. It's like the amount of difficulty is right when you capture the
Uh,
beginning of the game. There's a reason we're able to craft like medical items, like say potions and revives easily, and that's because the beginning part of the game it's the cover because of how much you have to build the strength of your party to start out the game that you have to consistently go through do healing stuff or flashback to a camp in order to rest for a few moments or whatsoever. But the main core thing is to get these grit items like the grit like the little grit bags and stuff, the grit dust and stuff that eventually go to grit gravel, and then it moves on to there. There's like about 3 or 4 different like grit items and
I saw
stuff. So
three
you
different
start
levels.
off,
So
yeah, it's okay. So it's 3 different levels. So you start off with like the grit dust, which will only go forth like from levels like 1 to 3,
yeah,
and then it's like the grit gravel is like 5 to 7, and then like the rest is like the last main grit item itself.
yeah,
But if you were able to go through and collect a whole bunch of them and trade it into like a Zisu inside your main town, inside the main thing and stuff, and trade a whole bunch of stuff to upgrade certain items and stuff, you could earn them that way if you choose to. I personally haven't done that because I could essentially just want to go and just beat a whole bunch of different Pokemon and earn grit gravel and grit stuff like
yeah,
that way because I've found that a lot quicker.
yeah. And like spamming like alpha Pokemon is a smart move too. I found Like there's certain Pokemon that are just way stronger.
Yep.
You find alpha ones and like they're bigger. Like I actually caught one, like the big bear one. I can't remember what it's called. I showed you.
First ring.
Yeah, so I found like the alpha one in like the second area early on, and it was like 10 levels higher than anything else I had.
Yep.
And like he knocked out a couple of my Pokemon, but I eventually got him down weak enough that I caught him, and I kept him through my entire rest of my game. But like
Cool.
I found that like if you leave the area and come back, all those alphas respawn. So if you
Yes.
knock them out and you want to catch them, you can go back and find them again and catch them. I guess I don't know if you catch them if they come back. I know if you knock them out, they'll come back. I guess I didn't check.
Yes, they do, I believe.
Okay, so like I
Because
didn't know.
I've had a case like for the first area and stuff to where I caught an alpha cricky tune and stuff, and I was able to go back to that area and there was another alpha cricky tune. So I
Okay,
think it just replenishes itself. So
okay,
you can go forth and farm initial like alpha Pokemon if you choose to do so.
yeah. So I'd find Pokemon that were like way high level than me, but then I'd find like my matchup that works against them. So like, oh, here's a water
Dude,
type alpha that's 10 levels higher, but I have my Sphinx that's a level 30, and he's a level 40, but I got electric type and he's stronger. So I just gotta like survive the impact of like one move, and I can knock him out in like 2 moves, or like do my thing where I get 3 moves in a row before he can, stuff like that. So, um,
I've
and I would
encountered
just
so many
spam him.
different types. I mean, not just like the cricky stuff like that, but I encountered like a an alpha stun like skunk tank, an
Yep.
alpha like a freaking alpha Snorlax.
Yeah, I found
Holy
one of those
shit, the
too.
Snorlax
Fuck you
one
up.
is so fucking strong.
Dude, like the latter part of the game, you find like what's cool is like as you unlock new abilities like swimming and like shit like that. I don't want to spoil the rest for people, but like there's areas that you couldn't get to in like the first map, the first areas. Like there's like like sections you can't get to in those areas. So you have to like as you unlock new abilities, you can go back and then get to those areas. So like I did that later on in the game where like there's like this whole like chunk of the map I just couldn't go to, and I just found like all these new different types of Pokemon, all these new types of alphas, and I'm just like I spent a good chunk of time just going through each area and going through all these sections I couldn't get to the first time, and like found all
Dude.
these new breeds and alphas.
But you know what this game has really reminded me of? It feels like a Monster Hunter Light sort of way.
That's what I've been
Because
hearing a
there's a
lot of
lot of
people.
certain.
Yeah,
And the reason why I think that is because there are a lot of aspects that really remind me of Monster Hunter. Crafting portions, encountering some of the big monsters and stuff like that. You have to go through and whittle down and stuff. Of course, this way you're using a team of pocket monsters and stuff like that to attack the main portion instead of like just attacking them with basic weapons and stuff. But I love the feel of it. I love the initial gameplay stuff and the amount of strategy you can go through and do. Hell, I love how authentic some portions of this game is. Like, for example, when you craft heavy balls and stuff like that, when you toss them at a Pokemon, they're fucking heavy enough to where they will literally miss the
yeah.
creatures or something like that if you're too far away
If
from
you
them.
if you hit them though, it's like a guarantee. Like you're gonna catch them. But yeah, like you got to be really close to like for
Yep.
those heavy balls to actually do anything.
I had a funny moment where I encountered a Rhyhorn, right? And this
Mm.
is like before the second noble Pokemon I'm going to be facing off against.
Yeah,
And
they're on the way.
what's hilarious about it is like this fucking Rhyhorn and stuff like that. I'm fairly close to it. It passes by me. You can see me. It's peripheral vision and stuff, and it does not notice me at all. And I fucking toss a heavy ball on it and it just captured it right thing. It's like, okay, well, that was that one.
Yeah,
But one thing I really like is there are random elements in this game that are kind of crazy to where there will be a distortion zone that will form.
yeah. The space time
And
distortions.
yes, and what's fun about those is like if you get into those like these portion zones and stuff, and it actually starts like having this sort of like a time warp or whatever the hell, and all what will happen is all these Pokemon will start like spawning in and stuff. Sometimes two or three at a time, and sometimes they'll attack like in a fucking swarm. It literally took me by surprise the first time through, but that's just how I got a whole bunch of different EVs all at once.
Nice.
Because
Yeah.
I'm noticing it's some of the some of the Pokemon that are sort of uncommon or a little bit rare, because that's how I've gotten Pokemon Eevees or Lickitung or like
I got a bunch of
Onix,
Flareons in one.
Flareon.
Yeah,
Seriously.
I got like Eevee
Holy shit.
evolutions in there. Yeah, I got Eevees and like I got Porygons and uh, I saw a lot of
Oh, I got a
Abras in
Flareon.
there. Yeah, like
Abra, okay.
um, God, what else I see? I saw a bunch of like the Ninetales I found in there once.
Dude,
Um, yeah,
there
a
are
ton.
chances you'll encounter shiny Pokemon inside of these
I caught
distortions as
one shiny
well.
Pokemon. It's the weird like vine one with like it's like flying. I don't. It's
Carnivine.
yes, I found a shiny one of those, and I didn't realize it the whole time that the game makes a noise when a shiny Pokemon appears, and I
I have
heard
not
it
heard that.
throughout the game, but I didn't know what it meant. And then one time, like towards like way deep, 20+ hours into my playthrough, that I heard the noise and it appeared right in front of me. And I'm like, are
Interesting.
you fucking shitting me? I've heard that noise probably 6, 7 times. Not a lot, but 6, 7 times. I've heard that noise and I didn't know what it meant. And then now here I am 20+ hours in and I'm like, God
Oh,
damn it.
man.
What have I missed? And
Well, how the hell were you supposed to know? I mean, that was a
yeah,
weird ass.
yeah. Like I said, I wouldn't even known if it just didn't, that shiny Pokemon didn't appear directly in front of me. And it's like you can barely notice the difference between once you get into the battle, you notice the difference, but like in the world, you don't really notice the difference.
Dude, the most enjoyment I've had is just exploring all the different areas, collecting, crafting, and like finding a whole bunch of different Pokemon that I recognize, and then able to
Yeah.
go forth and capture them and stuff. I know I'm going to be upgrading my team fairly soon, because I got a good core of Pokemon right now where I'm going to keep throughout this entire journey because I like the way that they're going through and evolving. And I tell you what, I love the way they can master moves upon leveling
Yeah.
up, and I also love how you can interchange. I kid you not, like about 5 or 6. There's like a slot of like 5 or 6 moves you can go through and
Oh,
have to
it gets a
choose
lot more.
between.
You get like 10 or 12.
Dude, it's so awesome that you can go forth and interswitch them and just customize their move sets instead of like deleting one and not being able
It,
to go forth and use it
it's gone
anymore because
forever.
of some
Yeah.
stupid shit.
Yeah. I mean,
Not just gone forever.
there's so many things I love about this game where like this game is far from perfect. It is. Like there's a lot of technical
Oh,
issues. There's a
that's
lot of
true.
this game feels dated in a lot of ways as far as like, there's so many like small like annoying things that it does. Like I talked about last week with like the whole side quest thing and certain other things where it's like there are a lot of small issues that like bug me that become because there's so many small ones, they like that as a whole they become an issue. But like as like and this is all on like me as like I play Pokemon games for nostalgia. I play these games because I love I grew up loving Pokemon. Like
Hmm.
so like there's a curve there you're grading it on, but there's so many cool moments of like fucking finding a Sudowoodo or whatever you want to call him, and like he sees you looking at him, and he stops and he pretends to be a tree, and
He's self-aware.
he's just like, oh, and he just stops. And he's just like, I'm a tree. And you're like, oh, he's a tree, and you just throw a Pokeball at him anyways. I found like a Snorlax just chilling in a fucking hot stream, like a
Yeah.
basically like a hot tub. I just like found a bunch of Pokemon just hanging out in one, and there's just a Snorlax sleeping in a fucking hot tub essentially. Um, just stupid shit like that. Like I just love like I said, you going back to like once you unlock new abilities and go back to like the older areas, and you just go to these new areas, and you just discover like all this random shit.
Oh
I
yeah.
I caught the fucking Gyarados that's flying in the air in the first area. It took me like 20 fucking of those feather balls, the ones that like fly really far. 'Cause that's the only way you can get them.
Mhm.
I finally fucking caught the fucker. Worth it. And then I found a Gyarados just in the fucking lake later on. I'm like, God damn it. But hey, it was worth it. But yeah, like so Gables, you're about like 14, 15 hours. And what area are you on?
All right, so I'm still inside of the second area before facing off against the second noble Pokemon, and that's
Wow.
because I spent so much time going through and completing the aspects of the Pokedex and stuff like that to try to increase my rank. So
Okay.
I'm still at rank 4,
Okay.
but at the same point, I took a lot of time catching a bunch of different Pokemon. Caught like a hell of a lot of like Pokemon like stuff like Psyduck, Eevee,
Yeah.
Budew, and stuff like that, and like try to get my party all nice and organized the way I wanted to and stuff. But man, I'll tell you this, man, it's like 15 hours into this game, I am fully confident in saying that this is definitely one of the best Pokemon games I've played in years.
Yeah.
And the reason
Maybe
why I
ever.
feel that way is because the core gameplay of it and the way it presents itself is so refreshing in comparison to was what was previously what Game Freak has put out in regards to Pokemon style of games. Like I've said before, and I'll continue to reiterate this feels like a mainline Pokemon game. And this feels like the type of Pokemon game that initially we had thought about as kids, because this is what we wanted in sort of a
Yes.
in sort of like a in sort of way where we wanted to explore different varieties and stuff. See Pokemon just rummaging across like playing areas and stuff and local habitats and this and that, reacting to you as you're tossing Pokeballs at them or just battling them or this type of stuff. There's a lot of good elements inside this game. I mean, granted, yeah, there are some bad elements too. I mean, I'm not gonna overlook the fact that technically and stuff, if this wasn't on Nintendo Switch and like on another platform or something like that, this would be like, holy shit, this is nice to look at, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, and frame rate dips and all this other stuff. I mean, you're gonna take the good stuff with the bad stuff here, but I feel like there's a lot of good stuff in this game that I can completely overlook the way the game looks at times and stuff inside of its terrains or its environments and stuff. I can overlook like some of the frame rate dips that can that can happen and sort of look like stop motion animation stuff, especially when you look at some Pokemon in the background. But in terms of Pokemon games, say like on the Switch, I definitely feel like this game so far is better than say a Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl.
Oh
I
yeah.
feel like that it's better than say the even the Let's Go Eevee and Let's Go Pikachu games, even though those were fun as well. And as far as Sword and Shield goes, I mean, fuck yeah, dude. I mean, this definitely has that type of feel to where it is either on the level or like a little bit above Sword and Shield. I mean, this definitely feels like the best Pokemon game on the Switch.
Yeah. I
Not,
would.
mainline
Yeah.
stuff.
I would tend to agree with you. I think it's like it since coming back to Pokemon since X and Y. This is like my favorite Pokemon game. I'd probably like it more than X and Y. Although there's a lot of nostalgia in X and Y where it's just they really focus big time on like Gen 1 in X and Y.
Hmm.
And like Let's Go like Pikachu and Eevee, like I really love that game. But I love it because it's just a remake of one of my favorite games of all time. But it's like if I wasn't a fan of that of those games or I didn't have that nostalgia for them, I don't know if I would love those games. Um, yeah, so it's crazy because like I was like 15 hours in when we talked last week, and I was fairly close to beating Area 3, and you're 15 hours in, you're not even beating Area 2 yet. I put 24 hours into it, and I beat the game.
Oh,
Um,
you've beaten the game.
yeah,
Okay.
so I finished it up on Thursday. Um, and it's funny because it's like I meant to like beat it a lot earlier, but it's just like that loop is so tempting of just like when you go to like, all right, I'm gonna go to like I'm gonna do the mission now. Like you fuck around for a couple hours every time you get to a new area. I'm like, all right,
Right.
I'm gonna go do the main area. I'm gonna go do the thing now. Like the whole point of why I'm here. And then you're just like, oh, what's like you're branching off. There's a left and the right. You're supposed to go left for the main story. I'm like, well, what's over there? You go over there and like there goes in there 45 minutes, and you're just like, or sometimes
Absolutely.
there's some annoying parts where you find a cave, and you go into the cave, and there's just like you actually have to like hit A to enter it, and you go to a loading screen to get to there, and there's just nothing in it. Like it's just
Oh.
nothing. There's literally nothing. And then sometimes you walk to a cave and it's just fucking full of Zubats. And you're like, God damn it. So there's like it's just very weird. Like, um, yeah. So there's definitely some of that to it. Like, but like yeah, like the loop is very like we're just like all right, I'm done. And you're like, well, I'm gonna go check that out. Or like you want like, oh, well, wait, I haven't seen that Pokemon before. I'm gonna go fuck with that one. Or like, ooh, I'm pretty close to like doing these things for my checklist here on my Pokedex. So I'm gonna do this now. Or like you find the alpha and you're like, well, I'm gonna go fuck with that guy. And then you go fuck,
Dude,
and, So
this game has the best example. I think one of the best like examples of like everything you do in that game, it accomplishes something.
Mm.
It
Yeah. Oh
makes
yeah.
you feel
That's
that sense of accomplishment. Just balls to the wall, man. It makes you feel so fucking accomplished in regards to achieving different things inside of it. Even if you're like, say, beating a bunch of different Pokemon or capturing it or exploring a new area and stuff, you get something new almost with each encounter.
yeah.
And it makes it so engrossing to where you want to go forth and explore more inside of terrains, and you want to go forth and capture multiple different Pokemon instead of being in a past game to where it's one and done. Okay, I got this Pokemon. That's good. I'm gonna go to the next area right here. Maybe farm a couple different like hours or something like that. Try to get like a shiny Pokemon or trying to get like a specific Pokemon I want for my team in this panel of grass. But yet I'm getting frustrated because it's been like over an hour and I can't get this fucking Feebas inside this one fucking corner.
Yeah. Yeah.
Diamond and Ruby and Sapphire rant.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just like I said, yeah, the loop is very good. It's like that's the thing I always go back to with like it's a really great Switch game where like it's it's the Switch is a handheld as well where it's like you look at like Breath of the Wild and like Mario Odyssey where I look at those like two of like the best Switch games out there. Some people say some of the best games of all time. Some would say that the Breath of the Wild is the seventh best game in 2017. But anyways, those games are really great Switch games where like if you only got 30, 40 minutes to play them, you can still accomplish quite a bit in that game with 30, 40 minutes. You can knock out a couple of fucking shrines. You can collect a couple of the star shines or whatever. I forget what they're called in the moon shines, where they're in Odyssey. You can do a bunch in Legends Arceus. You can do a lot in 30. Like you just want to wander around and catch Pokemon. You're gonna gain the experience points. You're gonna like add to your Pokedex. You're gonna help you rank closer to in your ranks for your level ranks for the Pokedex. I got really close to level 8, so I'm in 7 for that. So like I said, I beat the game. Took me like 24 hours to do it. And like I planned on beating it earlier, but like I said, I just kind of got wrapped in that loop a bunch and added a bunch of time to it. Sounds like Gable's going through this game at a much slower pace than I am. But like I ended up like but I just like that's how I am. I start like at a certain point I start mainlining stuff. But like there's like I say towards like the latter chunk of the game I wasn't liking it as much because it leans more on just like not as kind of cuts out the exploring part. Like you're not really getting new areas, and that's where most like that comes from. Of like the time goes into, and then like I don't know. I'm just trying to spoil too much, but like I like the very like final bits of the game of the story, although there's a lot of issues with it, and I'd like to talk to Gables about the story wise. There's just a lot of issues with it, and I looked up like the so I did like I talked about last week where like, I looked up like there's like the end of the story, and then there's like the post game story stuff to do. And I looked up what you have to do and what that all is. And I'm like, fuck that. Because that's like 30 hours of like grinding kind of shit to like get to an ending that's just kind of dumb and pointless. Yeah. I really like this game. I really, really love this game. Like I said, there's like a lot of small issues that become a fairly big issue. But overall, like I said, like as a fan growing up a Pokemon and like just really wanting that nostalgia hit for Pokemon, like that's what I go in for. And then especially coming off of Diamond and Pearl when I played them for like 14 hours, but I just kind of fell off really fast. Like I can't wait to see what the future of Pokemon is, like how they incorporate this into, like I feel like they're gonna find a way to combine the what Pokemon that we've known for 25 years and this together. I can't wait to like eventually we're gonna have like Pokemon in like the modern day Pokemon. Like they can't like this is a very good like first step, and like they're testing out a lot of shit, and like there's a lot of good here, and then I got to figure out a way to like combine like, and it was weird because in a way it's kind of like what's funny when like you talk to like people like like talking to Justin or like like when we talk about like Breath of the Wild, is like I love Breath of the Wild, but I miss that format of Zelda, even though like people grew tired of the Zelda format, and it's like I love the Metal Gear Solid games, and like as much as I love 5, I miss Metal Gear Solid. I miss that format. And it's like, in a weird way, you kind of sort of miss that format, even though you were extremely tired of it. It's like, I'd love you to incorporate this Arceus into what we've known. Like, you can still have gym battles and all that. You can still have the Victory Road. You can have the final, like the Elite Four. Like, I love have that. But like, incorporate this Arceus stuff. Like, we've seen that with the open areas they had in Sword and Shield. Like, they've attempted it, and it's like, I can't wait to like just make that the game, but in modern day Pokemon. And I hope they find a way to incorporate that. And they're on a very good step to it, and I can't wait. I really can't.
I'll agree.
But Gables, I meant to show this to you before when we were talking about Nintendo sales numbers.
Yeah.
I mentioned that Sword and Shield is now the second highest selling Pokemon game of all time. Would you like to know the entire list?
Yes.
Okay, so it's a little odd because they they always combine like Sword and Shield together, Gold and Silver together, Diamond and Silver, like they always combine. But the third tier, like the Pokemon Yellow, stuff like that, they separate. It's very weird. But
okay,
the worst selling Pokemon game of all time, mainline, Pokemon Crystal, 6.3 million.
Oh, okay.
Emerald. But to be fair, the bottom like chunk here are all the third tier games, like the third, so because
that makes sense.
So like Emerald is 7.06, Platinum 7.69, Black and White 2 8.2, Ultra Sun Ultra Moon 8.89, Fire Red Leaf Green 12 million, Heart Gold and Soul Silver 12.72. Like we talked about, Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl 13.97. The Let's Go games at 14.33. Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, those are the 3DS remakes at 14.46. Pokemon Yellow 14.64. Black and White 15.64. Ruby and Sapphire 16.22. Sun and Moon 16.27. X and Y at 16.58. Diamond and Pearl at 17.67. Gold and Silver 23.7. Sword and Shield 23.9. And number one, red, green, blue, 31.38. So a pretty large gap between 1 and 2 there. But yeah, pretty interesting. I thought it was kind of an interesting list. So, but now we know that, in 3 days, Legends Arceus already outsold Crystal. So,
wow.
So it's not I don't know. I'm curious. I think that game has a real shot at becoming I wouldn't be surprised by the end of the year. I mean, only 3 different versions have sold over 20 million copies. I feel like by the end of this year, Gables, there's a very real chance that game will have sold 20 million copies, and it will become at least the 4th best-selling game in the Pokemon franchise. So,
depending upon what they do with it next, especially when it comes to maybe potential DLC, I could see this game possibly reaching close to Red and Blue in terms of sale numbers.
Yeah, potentially. I would be cool with that. I still hold out hope for that Let's Go Gold and Silver games. But I feel like it's less and less likely. But Gables, before we get out of here, I do want to talk to you about one other game.
Okay.
I picked up the Uncharted Legacy of Legacy of Drake or whatever it's called. That edition, the PS5 edition. Okay. So this is really cool, Gables. I thought that you had to own. It was $10 to upgrade each individual game.
Yeah.
And you had to own each individual game on PS4. Fun fact, Gables, you only have to own one of those games on PS4 to get the upgrade. So it's only one $10. So if you own, say, Uncharted 4 digitally or physically, and you want to upgrade to the PS5, you can get both for $10. So, because I own Uncharted 4 digitally. I bought Uncharted Lost Legacy physically, but I traded it in. But I got both copies, and you get all the trophies for it too. So that's pretty cool. I jumped from 327 to 329 on my trophy list. Whatever the fuck that means. But anyways, I started playing some Uncharted 4 on the PS5. So they got like a few different settings here. So they have like there's a 4K 30 setting. There's like the 1440
60 frames.
Well, there's a 1440 60 frames, and then there's a performance plus mode that is 1080, 120 frames. And let me tell you, Gables,
well, this supports 120 frames.
Yeah, on the PS5. So a lot of TVs don't have it, but I guess my TV does. I didn't realize my TV does, but it can do it.
Okay, so it's actually it actually goes through and supports like 120 hertz, like 144 hertz or something.
Yeah, I don't know what the hertz are. I don't understand that part. But Gables, let me tell you, man.
The hertz is the processing sort of like thing in terms of frame rate and stuff.
Okay, I don't have a clue, Gables. I don't understand it. I've tried to understand it. I don't got a fuck clue. You might as well just start speaking fucking alien to me. Speak Bidoof to me for all I fucking know. That's a Pokemon. But Bidoof! Gables, when you're playing Pokemon Legends, were you just going around like randomly yelling Pokemon names like as if you were the Pokemon? Is that just a me thing? Do you do that? Do I do that? Am I just weird?
It's only with Bidoof, and the reason
right?
I do that.
Oh my god!
It's because of every time that he fucking like comes over here. The immediate thing that comes to mind is like he just looks at him. He's like, "Doofy."
Yeah, I just come every time I see it. My volume levels shot way up when I got really excited about that when you said that. Gables, every time I would see a Bidoof, I just go Bidoof. I don't know why. I would just I'd see a I'm like, go Ghastly. I was just doing that the entire fuck. I'm a fucking nerd. But anyways, back to Uncharted 4. I've been playing. So I've never been like the frames per second snob. But it's oddly like really with the Xbox Series S, I have gone, especially because it's not as powerful. But I've been focusing more on frame rates. Where like I was playing Forza, like normally I've been like I want the game to look as pretty as possible. So I'll do like I always done like the whatever the fidelity mode or whatever. So it does like 4K. So like on PS4 Pro, I'd always do like the whatever makes it looks the prettiest. I would do that and just do like 30 frames. But like I played like last year playing like Forza Horizon 5 and on Halo Infinite. Like I started playing at 60 frames per second. I'm like, oh, I want to do 4K 30. I did 4K 30. I'm like, fuck this. I'm going back to 60. But even still on PlayStation 5, I've still done the 4K 30. And I've been like, so I was like, well, I'm just going to do the 4K 30. And I was doing that. And I'm like, oh, this game looks fucking pretty. I was like, I want to go, because I have it set to just do that. I'm like, well, I want to see what it looks like. I like to toggle back and forth a little bit. And then I noticed the performance plus mode with 120 frames per second. And my God, Gables. Oh, I get it. I'm starting to get it. I'm not going to be the snob about it. I'm not going to be a snob because I'm still like, I'm the, make it look as pretty as possible guy. But my God, playing this at 120 frames per second, holy shit. It's not like as sharp of like, it's still better than PS4, like when I played it on PS4, obviously. But like, holy shit. It blew me away. That was a life-altering experience, Gables. First time playing a game at 120 frames per second. Way more like noticeable, obviously, 4 times more noticeable than 30, double than 60. I like, because I've always been like, I don't notice a major difference, but I've always been like, well, yeah, I'm like a racing game or a fighting game. I want 60, but like, like something like an Uncharted where it's a little slower, stuff like that, right. Or like even like a Madden, I'll just play at 30. I'm fine with that. But my fucking God, that game, holy shit. Anyways, immediately though, Gables, like I haven't played. I just gotta tell you, Gables, your game of the year of 2016, Uncharted 4, still fucking fantastic. Yeah. I forget. I don't know why I do this with Uncharted games, where I forgot how good Uncharted was when I played it on PS3 when I did the trilogy and I played them again, and I'm like, oh my God, these games are fucking amazing. Like one was like never like awesome, like was never like best game of all time, but like I even like playing it on PS4, I'm like, oh, this game's still very good, but it's not. Yeah, it wasn't. Never was. But like 2 and 3 were like, oh my God, these are game of the year, game of the generation contenders. And then I played them on PS4. I'm like, they were. They still are. And then Uncharted 4, I forgot. It's been 6 years, since I played it. Since it came out. And I was just like playing it. I'm just like, a couple hours in, I'm like, oh my God, I forgot how amazing Uncharted is. Like it's been 6 years, like, well, 5 if you include Lost Legacy, but that's a DLC / spinoff. But it's like how long it's been since like just sitting there, like listening to Nathan Drake, how funny he is, how witty he is. Elena, his wife, my dream girl. Tyler, don't fall in love with a fucking video game character. Don't do it.
So how did it feel to go through that Crash Bandicoot level?
Amazing, Gables. It was amazing. That was a stupid question. It was awesome. And I still didn't beat her score.
Did you have the thoughts of like, look at it, it's like, well, that company that made that, it's like they now owned by Microsoft.
Yeah, that's true. That's right. I didn't think about that. That's very funny. It's a good point. Holy shit. Like, I wonder if like they're like Microsoft's like, take that out of the game. But yeah, like, man, my God. It was funny. Like, so I took a screenshot on my PS4 6 years ago from this ledge early on in the game. And I did it again today. Got to that same ledge. And I'm like, don't I have a screenshot of this saved on my phone from when I took a screenshot? I took the screenshot, with my PS4 with the share button or whatever, but I saved it on my phone. And thank God, via the cloud, I still had it. And I went back and I looked at it, and I'm like, man, like 6 years later, that same picture, that same vista I was looking at, I'm just like, wow, this is stunning. And I like going through like there's that part in the beginning of the game when you're like walking through the attic, and like you're finding all like the old like stuff that like from the like things he kept from like the original games. Like he found like the coin, or he found like the little fucking thing that like he helped solve like puzzles with, or like finds the diaries and pictures he took along the way from those games, and it's like reminiscing about the past, and like the music's like the music from those games kind of kicks in a little bit, and then like there's like that overall this is the original theme. I'm just like, oh my God, like like I was getting chills playing through this game. I'm like, I forgot just how fucking great this fucking franchise is. I'm on chapter 5. Yeah, 5. And I'm back in it. Like I was just like gonna dilly dabble a little bit in here. Like, I want, it's only $10 upgrade. I'm like, fuck it, I'll just jump in and check it out, see how I feel about it. I'm like, I played for like 3 hours straight today. I'm just like, oh fuck yeah, I'm back in. I'm all in now. This game is fantastic. I forgot how good this game is, and I can't wait to keep playing again. Like it's like, even though I know a lot of like the big like the big like story moments of this game, it's still fucking awesome. It's so fun to play. The characters are fantastic. I forgot, Naughty Dog, very good at making video games. Who could have thunk it? But yeah, that's all I've been playing. Is there anything else you've been playing this week, Gables, besides Pokemon?
No, pretty much.
Okay. Well, Gables, I can't wait. I hope can't wait to see what you say when next week when you've had a lot more time jumping this. So I'm curious to see where you're like when you get to the end of the game where you're at. But anyways, guys, I think that's gonna wrap it up for this week. So thank you guys so much for listening. If you like the show, please like, follow, subscribe. We're everywhere: iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, wherever podcasts are at. Google, we're on them. Please like, follow, subscribe, 5 stars, shares is the big one. Ring the bells, what the fuck you got to do to make you not forget about us. Please do that, because don't you forget about me and Gables. But anyways, I was Tyler.
And I've been Colonel Gables. Until next time, everyone, play some fun games, and thank you for listening to another fun-filled episode of the Drunk-Nerds podcast.
And hey, Gables.
Yep.
Too sweet.
Too sweet, man.
Bye, guys.
See ya.